And don't have my hat on. I'm hitting the microphone. Let me run the intro. I need a longer intro so I can get ready. Quicker. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope that you're having a wonderful one out there. Thank you so much for being here, for stopping in, stopping by, coming on through. Listen, you guys can't see it because I have it hidden, but I have a long wire that runs from my computer here all the way to the other side in the house because I have bad internet over here. And walking in here with my cup, I totally tripped. Didn't spill a drop, but I could have. Today, we are listening to Béla, Fleck, and the Flecktones. We're listening to this track off of the album Little Worlds, released 2003. That track will be the track Puffy that we're listening to. No Diddy. This is recommended and sponsored by Jim Bricker. So Jim, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support and of course the recommendation. Now, with Béla, Fleck, and the Flecktones, I've heard of them. I know that Victor Wooten, one of the most renowned bassists in the world, is part of this group. However, I don't want to say that I've never listened to them because I'm sure that I've listened to something in passing from them, but I've never listened to them. I've never actively listened to them. I've heard a lot of things about them, but I can't tell you one thing about them besides Victor Wooten being in the band. But like I said, I don't want to say that I've not heard anything by them because I probably have in passing. But really don't know anything about them otherwise. So I'm excited to go ahead and check them out. I've seen a lot of to-do, hubbub, ballyhoo about the band. So this will, in a way, be my first foray into listening to them. Let's go ahead and dive into this track, Puffy. We'll talk about them after. Here we go. There's that. It's a very cool mixture of styles. It's so busy, but it's very calm. I have to call back and forth with these saxon. This has some cool like transitions and musical build-ups. For those harmonics. What are those called? Those quick rolls. That would be too. It's not even swing, transition. Keep it going. Those little bubbles. Back to that. Slow it down. That was a cool track to listen to. That was cool. Now, I knew Wooten was in this here, so I knew that like the bass was going to be, of course, a star in its own right. And yes, it's an incredibly interesting bass line the way he plays, and you can hear his thumb slapping on this thing. And when it got into that middle section where he's kind of having a bass solo, all the music's kind of gone out. And I don't know, there's probably a proper term for it, and I'd be really curious what it's called. But he's very quickly, like, I'm not doing the noise, but and then he goes like he does like a lot of quick hits on there, kind of filling in the gap of the bass line, as little gap as there is. And I just think that that's really cool, but I'm curious what the proper term for that technique is in that particular section. Okay, so as my first introduction into the band, I think that their style is just really interesting. Béla Fleck is going to be the person playing the banjo. The band's named after him, right? The banjo is such a cool instrument and something that I would never think with a sound like this, with a kind of jazzy fusion like this. And yet it works so well. And I'm not saying that Béla Fleck was the first to include banjo in jazz music. Obviously, that would not be right. But it is still cool to hear that kind of hybrid coming together. You know, something known for bluegrass, folk, country. And here with jazz, it works so well. And I like how busy Béla Fleck and Wooten are in their respective instruments for the most part. Wooten's bass line is busy pretty much the whole time. He is just a river coursing through a canyon. The walls of that canyon are going to be the drummer. On the drums is going to be Future Man. That's Future Man. This is Future Man. Roy. Okay, so is this Wooten's brother? Roy Wilfred Wooten. I'm sorry, my R's and W's. It gets mixed up in there. But I really enjoyed the drumming because, yes, it has that subtlety of jazz drumming, but there's still an intensity there. And speaking of that, Wooten and Fleck, they have an intensity in the way they're playing. I mean, you cannot be playing that busy without it being intense. But at the same time, the volume control is very subtle and allows the melody of everything else. Saxophone, for example, played by Jeff Coffin, to ride over it. And I really, really enjoyed that. But I really felt that Future Man was the walls of that canyon with the river kind of coming through, because he kind of contained everything. He contained the bass line, the flurry of that. He contained the banjo and the picking, the chicken picking of that. And he just kind of kept them all in line. At some points, the fjord would widen out, and of course the river would be allowed to, spread out a little bit more, but at times he would rein it back in. But those walls of the canyon were still jagged in its own right, smooth at some points, but always beautiful. And I just really like how the drums kind of controlled everything. Now, can I tell you, in looking at, of course, all the instruments that they're playing throughout the album itself, I gotta tell you that Future Man playing a synth axe drumitar, I have never in my life heard of that. Synth axe drumitar. Okay, a synth axe is a fretted guitar-like MIDI controller. Okay, we've seen that. We've seen that. And a drumitar is... I've never seen this. What the heck are we doing, man? Just got Frankenstein's monster here. MIDI sound generators have long been able to make realistic drum sounds, but the traditional keyboard... Is it like a keytar, kind of? Except instead of, keys on the guitar, it's a drum machine, basically. MIDI triggers can be retrofitted onto the traditional drum kit to allow drummers to play synthesizer or simple drum sounds. Let's see. Future Man, the percussionists for, of course, Béla, Fleck, and the Flecktones use a synth axe drumitar to trigger drum sounds on several MIDI modules, which allows him to move around on the stage. I mean, that I have to look at that. But before we look at that, still kind of keeping on the song, at least for a moment, like, it was really cool how this did feel like a river just kind of rushing. It felt like a journey. There were times when, we were going through some white rapids and it was a little bit rockier and I mean, not like heavy, but like just a little bit more. And then most of this was just kind of a nice, clear, watered journey through to this river. I thought that was really, really nice. And as someone who's never listened to the band, I thought that this was sensational. I thought this was a great listen. I love the instrumentation, how they all play together. The sound of the band, I'm talking like the most general sound I could, generalize if I am, which I'm pretty sure, Jim, if I remember correctly, you're also a fan of the band / artist I'm about to mention. But it also reminded me a little bit of the Pat Metheny band. And not literally the way they play, but the sound of it all kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, really cool track. But I'm curious if you'll indulge me, and I know you will. Let's do a little Google search on this, huh? Let's take a little. Let's do a little. I'm curious. Listen, you don't learn unless you look. Future Man solo. That was loud. I'm just pulling up I just pulled up the first video. Future Man solo. I would like to see this.
Everybody.
Hopefully this doesn't
Guess you didn't know it. This is my drum set.
That is... Oh, you can't see it. Hold on.
My fingers are the drumsticks.
That is really, wild.
Everything here is being played live.
That is wild, though. I would have... That is so inventive.
Right hand, left side.
Oh, come on, that is cool. That is awesome. I just wanted to see how it looked like. I just wanted to, I know you, if you want to watch the video, go watch the video. I just typed in Synthex Drumatar and that's what came up. Also kind of curious, because I mean, I think that is such an inventive piece of technology to bring something like that on stage, like a guitar. Why not drums? Exactly. Why not? So I'm just, indulge me on one more thing. I would just like to see the way that Wooten plays the bass line on this track. I just want to see, we're not going to watch a whole live performance. That's not a live performance. I want to watch a live performance just to see how he plays that exactly. I cannot find a live performance of this track. I want to watch it. There's a video that looks like it's going to be live. It ain't live. Okay, well, all right. Sorry, I guess not. I guess I'm not going to be able to find a live video of that. Okay, I looked. But anyways, I wanted to see like, because it's a very tight bass line. It doesn't sound like he's doing a lot of like up and down on the fret. It sounds like he's kind of like more lower to mid, like higher to mid. He's up here and up here, but not playing down here. I don't know, and I can't tell you without the evidence. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, Jim. Appreciate the suggestion. Of course, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments down below. Follow me in a few places. Thank you, as always, for being here. I'll see you later. Bye. That Drumatar, though, that was cool. That was cool. And I loved his pirate outfit. You know I like that.